Welcome to marketing. Thanks for joining me in this journey. I am Koen Pauwels, Professor of Marketing, and I will take you on a little trip in marketing across industries and continents. As a marketing professor, I get to peer deep into companies, consumers, and see what they do and why they do it. In the categories of soup and yogurt, for instance, I'm fascinated by fast-moving consumer goods. Why do consumers buy what they buy? Which innovations do they like? How do you get them to try a new shampoo or a new yogurt? In Turkey, Germany and the US, I looked for instance at what happens if you give a price promotions. Turkish consumers often think they're more price sensitive than their counterpart in more mature markets. But that was not really the case in my research. With JFK, I showed that price sensitivity was about the same, but that Turkish competitors reacted much stronger to the price promotions than companies did in Germany or in the US. Together we devised a batch model strategy that gets better innovation to consumers and more money to companies to invest in innovations what consumers really care about. Bored of shampoo and yogurt? How about cars and electronics? I love these high involvement categories, where consumers make both rational decisions and pretty emotional ones. Take green cars for example. Companies have tried for decades to get consumers to pay more for really sustainable cars, to very little effect. What we found out through research is that while consumers say they want greener cars, very few are willing to pay more for them. Instead, they are willing to pay for luxury and being unique. So how about bundling greenness with uniqueness and luxury? Tesla is a great example of such a strategy. And this is the kind of strategies that we can devise with analytics and getting the data to make the right decisions. Does your marketing feel like a long race? I always loved running. The training, the thrill of the race, the satisfaction of improving yourself and your team. Also, it's a sport where natural talent only gets you a little way. Practice and coaching is key. Marketing strategy and analytics are not sprints, they are a marathon. You need a proper posture and attitude. You need to train cross-functional. Speed, like business intuition, is key, but also muscle power and the joints to use them. Data and analytics are the muscles and joints of marketing. And of course, you always reflect while stretching before and afterwards. This often means analyzing previous projects to see what can be improved and revising the current ones. Another world that fascinates me is online media. I was studying at UCLA when the .com craze happened, and I've been trying to understand ever since how consumer behavior differs online versus offline. For instance, what makes people spread positive word of mouth about companies on Facebook or on Twitter? And is it just how often they talk and whether it's positive or negative, or also what they say that matters? In a very big research projects, we found across brands and categories that it's not so much that a lot of people love your advertising online, but instead that they like your brand or say to people that they've been there, that really drives sales. And what results do companies get from this research? Well, my students and consumers get a much deeper understanding of the market and what drives companies to act the way they do. Of course, companies get detailed dashboards that helps them to predict the results of their decisions. And this works for both small and large companies. A very large car manufacturer, for instance, were in panic one month when a so-called key performance indicator was down, whether their sales were up. Then in our analysis we showed that that KPI was of no relation to sales and that they could relax. In contrast, there were other leading key performance indicators that predicted sales months and weeks out. So that helped them to schedule their production and to drive the innovation that people really wanted. On the other hand, a very small manufacturer really wanted to figure out how effective their marketing actions were. And then we helped them to see that the activity they spent most of their money on was actually not effective. So they decreased their spending on that one and increased it on one that they were neglecting. And the result was a 14-fold profit increase. with the same budget, just reallocating the money. That's the research for which we were a finalist for the Marketing Prize paper, which rewards marketing science tools that actually make a difference, an impact in real life. My consultancy, teaching and research has taken me all across the world, from my native Belgium to a PhD at UCLA in California, and then back east to the Tech School of Business at Dartmouth. Currently, I'm a professor at Ozyegin University in Istanbul, a wonderful startup that brings together the best international researchers and teachers with the most motivated students and ambitious organizations. So how is this relevant to you? Well, as Mark Flaherty said, and he's the vice president of Sunday Sky, the most important thing in the history of marketing is the ability to understand which data you have, which you need, and how to activate them to make better decisions. That is important for all the companies I worked with, large and small, in Asia, in Europe and in North America. Just get started. Just like in running, it's not important to be perfect or go big the first time. What's important is to take the first step and keep on going. And just like in running, I mean, no matter how slow you go, you're still lapping everybody who's just slopping on the couch. Let's get started.